Line. Yeah, I know we just started. Line. What? Yeah, I'm not saying that. When it comes to making magic on the big screen, it's sometimes the moments that weren't written down that end up in the film's final cut. Maybe it was intentional by bringing on someone who you knew was going to be able to improvise, or it could have just been one of those magical moments that happen on camera. And the neighbors mowing the yard. Regardless of what led to it, an opportunity presented itself, so here are some times where actors took matters into their own hands. Starting off, we have Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained. When Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Calvin Candy, is in the middle of handling a deal that he believes is now a lie, he's meant to play into this anger and kind of play up the tension in the room, because now it's a full-on confrontation.
Hey! Don't lay your palms flat on that tabletop! If you lift those palms off that turtle shell tabletop, Mr. Pooch is gonna let loose with both barrels of that sawed off.
Problem is, Leo got so carried away that he actually managed to smash and break glass right onto his hand. It was the only glass thing he could have possibly hit, managed to hit it right on the table, and in doing so, cut open his hand in the process. Being the professional that he is, he managed to use this for his performance and just continue going like as if nothing had happened. So you can actually see some of the other actors being caught off guard, but they're also rolling with it because the cameras are on and the performance is being done. He even went as far as to start smearing some of the blood on Kerry Washington's face while being swept up in this rage. It seemed like something he probably would do. It was just very disgusting to see, and Kerry Washington deserved an Oscar just for going along with that as it is. It said that when the take was done, the cast and crew behind the camera all managed to give an ovation to Leonardo DiCaprio for captivating everybody in the room with the performance on screen and off screen. It's an impressive performance to watch, but man, I would be fucking pissed if that was me. Nope. Next, we have Mike Myers picking up the torch and creating a legend with Shrek. See, originally DreamWorks had another funny man in mind for the voice of Shrek, someone who hit a surge of popularity from his role on Saturday Night Live and a successful run on the big screen. Yeah, none other than the comedic great Chris Farley was originally supposed to be the voice of Shrek. They actually went as far as to record just about all of his lines until he tragically would go on to pass. You can actually find these clips on YouTube of Chris Farley's voice for Shrek.
Why don't you want to talk about it?
Why do you want to talk about it?
Why are you answering the question with a question?
Why are you asking questions I don't want to answer?
Why are you blocking?
I'm not blocking.
Then why do you have problems expressing your wants?
I don't. I want you to shut up.
So, in a position with no real right answers, they made the choice to move ahead with the project, just recasting Shrek. So they turned back to Saturday Night Live and picked up one Mike Myers. You're looking for comedic gold in a hurry, that's a pretty good safety net to get. Though the recording process was a little messy for Myers. He requested to re-record all of his lines to better shape the character. And now we have that beautiful, nostalgic Scottish accent that arguably is part of Shrek's big charm to begin with.
Why don't you want to talk about it?
Why do you want to talk about it?
Why are you blocking?
I'm not blocking.
Oh, yes, you are.
Donkey, I'm warning you.
Who you trying to keep out? Just tell me that, Shrek. Who?
Everyone, okay?
Now on to Madeline, Kahn, and Clue. Clue is a fun movie with a fun gimmick of having a bunch of false endings scattered around depending on which version you saw. In one of these endings, Mrs. White has a speech, more so a weird rant. And in this hilarious stretch of just random thoughts, she managed to confuse and somehow entertain everybody. And that's true. The reactions that are then recorded of the other main characters on set are the genuine reactions of the actors playing off of what's going on. Nobody understood what she was talking about or where she was going, but they definitely didn't want to interrupt. They were just letting the stream flow. It managed to show Mrs. White in this hidden, unhinged kind of way, and it just made for something truly special for an ending. It's been quoted and memed a lot on the internet, and the confused and hateful nature of it is just something that I think can only happen in the moment. It can't be replicated by force.
I hated her so much. Flames on the side of my face, breathing, heaving breaths.
Alright, speaking of confusion, let's talk about Matthew McConaughey and The Wolf of Wall Street. In a moment where his character is meant to provide some wisdom or some motivation to the newbie in this hungry Wall Street world, McConaughey begins to thump his chest in a weird rhythm, and that turns into a chant. What makes this great is nobody knew he was going to do that. That's actually just something McConaughey does before performing most of his stuff that he's ever done on screen, because it kind of just helps clear his mind so he can just focus in on the role at hand. Leo was definitely confused and caught off guard, and you can actually see him look around at the other cast and crew members just off camera.
The parade comes to town, going down Broadway. It's a one-way street, whichever way I go.
Okay, I love this next one. Let's talk about Jim Carrey and the Grinch. Now, when talking about some of the great comedic actors of all time, moments of improvising isn't really going to be anything breaking any headlines. They're pretty known for doing this. But Jim Carrey has a scene in The Grinch that really encapsulates the whole lightning in a bottle kind of moments. He's meant to rip off a tablecloth and make a huge mess in the process. Problem is, he managed to perform the exact magic trick where you rip a tablecloth and nothing moves. And so hilariously turned around and just knocked everything down in this like really funny way. Yeah, a great moment to happen while the camera was rolling. Kind of insane that actually was caught. Moving on, we have Gene Wilder and Willy Wonka. In the Chocolate Factory documentary, Pure Imagination, we learn that Gene Wilder actually demanded that he get to introduce Wonka in his way, as untrustworthy and hard to read. So when he first walks out in this big introduction, this grand moment, he's walking with a cane and struggling, somersaults his way down, up, and then seems totally fine. In fact, he actually has a grin on his face. From then on, we as the audience are not meant to know when he's actually telling the truth. Now, this seems like a small thing, but it really does add a lot to the tone of this character, and honestly, it's part of the reason why some people look back on Willy Wonka and get a little creeped out. Some people look back on Willy Wonka and just think it's a happy movie. Yeah, what a great call for an actor to push for, and just really happy that he did it. I'd like to think I do the same thing, but truth be told, I'm probably gonna roll a couple more times and I might not really spring up at all. And I'd like to close this video out with Robin Williams from Good Will Hunting. In a scene where we get more of a heart-to-heart between Robin Williams and Matt Damon's characters, the two leads are sharing a moment where Robin Williams, in character of Sean Maguire, starts sharing a memory of his wife farting in her sleep. And it manages to catch Matt Damon so off guard that he not only genuinely smiles, but he begins genuinely laughing. In fact, the whole room was caught off guard, and the whole room was laughing with this really funny way that Robin Williams can tell a story. You can actually even see the camera shaking because the guy controlling it was also laughing. It's amazing that made it into the movie. It's amazing what he's able to do on set. Robin Williams was just a class act, and every movie just benefited that much more from having him in it. Plus, it really added a lot to the dynamic of those two leads.
My wife used to fart when she was nervous. She had all sorts of wonderful little idiosyncrasies. You know, she used to fart in her sleep. I'm sorry I shared that with you. One night it was so loud it woke the dog up. But Will, she's been dead 2 years, and that's the shit I remember. It's wonderful stuff, you know? Little things like that. Yeah, but those are the things I miss the most.
And that's all I got for you on this one. There are just so many moments, too many moments to count, that we could have talked about where actors improvised and something happened that wasn't really written down, but ended up on the big screen. So go ahead and comment down below some of the ones that stood out to you, some that you remember that you think fondly of, or maybe just some that you think most people don't really talk enough about. I'd love to check those out. Sometimes it's some of the best moments that weren't written down, and maybe sometimes you even want to talk about some of the worst moments that weren't written down that maybe they should have just stuck with the script. Kind of like how I should be sticking with the script right now and just ending this video already, but instead I'm rambling. Now it sounds small, but it would mean a lot if you liked this video and shared it around. Subscribe for more movie discussion videos and some life updates along the way. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for your time, and bye.